I didn't make a scene. I made a decision. The ballroom glittered like a chandelier had exploded into 1,000 stars. Crystal glasses clinked. Champagne flowed like rivers of gold. The Harrington Foundation Gala, the most important networking event of the year, and the night my marriage ended. I was standing near the balcony, checking my watch for the 3rd time. 22 minutes. That's how long I had been searching for my wife, Isabella. I wanted to tell her something important. I had just finalized the acquisition. The deal we'd chased for 3 years. The deal that would triple the valuation of my family's firm. I thought she'd be proud. I was wrong.
The library annex. I found her in the far wing of the estate. Dim lights, mahogany shelves, private. Too private. She wasn't alone. Her body was pressed against a man I knew very well, Marcus Laurent, my biggest competitor, the man who had tried, and failed, to undercut my company twice. Her hand rested comfortably on his chest, his arm wrapped around her waist like it belonged there, and she was smiling. Not polite, not professional, intimate, practiced. I didn't interrupt. I didn't shout. I didn't demand an explanation, because explanations are just rehearsed lies waiting for permission to speak. Instead, I felt something cold settle in my chest. Not heartbreak, not rage, clarity. And clarity is far more dangerous than anger. I turned around, walked away. Not a single word. Not to her, not to him, not to anyone.
She mistook silence for weakness. Isabella always believed I was soft, because I remembered anniversaries, because I cooked on Sundays, because I chose peace over conflict. She never understood that restraint is a weapon. I left the gala, didn't even say goodbye to the host. The valet handed me my keys. I drove home in complete silence, and during that drive, I built the blueprint of her collapse.
The study. When I walked into the house, I didn't pack a bag. I didn't cry. I didn't pour a drink. I walked straight to my study. The safe behind the painting opened with a quiet click. Inside were documents she had never bothered to understand. Original company shares, property deeds, founding agreements. See, Isabella loved luxury, but she never cared about structure. She liked the throne, not the architecture holding it up. And I was the architect.
The clause she forgot. 5 years ago, she insisted on a prenuptial agreement. She wanted to protect her future inheritance. She had laughed when I signed it without argument. What she never realized was that I had added one clause. Infidelity voided her executive control and equity position. She skimmed it, signed it, never imagined it would apply to her. By 1:30 a.m., my legal team had received encrypted emails. By 2:15 a.m., majority control had been consolidated under a holding structure she had no access to. By 3 a.m., the board had been notified of an emergency vote. And I was still sitting calmly in the dark kitchen when she came home.
The confrontation. She walked in laughing, high heels in hand. The scent of Marcus's cologne clung to her dress. She froze when she saw me. "Adrian, why are you sitting in the dark?" "I left early," I said. Her posture stiffened. "Feeling overwhelmed again?" "No," I replied calmly. "I left after I saw you in the library with Marcus." The silence that followed wasn't loud. It was hollow. Her confidence cracked. "It's not what it looked like." Of course it wasn't. It never is. I slid a folder across the counter. She opened it. Her face drained of color. Board resolution. equity restructuring, termination of executive privileges. Adrian, what is this? While you were networking, I said evenly. I was conducting business.
The domino effect. Marcus thought he was winning. He thought Isabella was his leverage. What he didn't know was that she had already lost her leverage. By Monday morning, news had spread. She no longer held authority. No access to accounts, no voting power. Marcus stopped answering her calls before noon. He hadn't wanted her. He wanted access. And she had gambled everything, believing she was the prize.
The divorce. The prenuptial agreement activated immediately. She walked away with exactly what she brought into the marriage: clothes, jewelry gifted personally, nothing more. The penthouse belonged to the holding company. The vacation properties were tied to trust structures. The cars were corporate assets. She hadn't married a fool. She married a strategist. And she forgot.
But here's where it gets interesting. You'd think revenge was the ending. It wasn't. The real twist? I didn't feel victorious. I felt free. For years, Isabella controlled the emotional temperature of our home. Approval withheld. Affection rationed. Respect conditional. I mistook endurance for loyalty. I mistook patience for love. Walking away from that gala wasn't about pride. It was about alignment. And once you align with truth, everything else rearranges itself.
Marcus's mistake. 3 weeks later, Marcus attempted a hostile acquisition. He believed my emotional distraction made me vulnerable. He underestimated 2 things. I don't make decisions emotionally. I plan 10 moves ahead. His acquisition failed spectacularly. Investors lost confidence. Rumors surfaced about insider trading attempts. His stock dropped 17% in 2 days. He tried calling me. I didn't answer. Silence. Again.
Isabella's realization. 6 months later, she called. Her voice smaller. No anger, no arrogance, just absence. I made a mistake, she said. No, I replied calmly. You made a choice. There's a difference. A mistake is accidental. A choice is intentional. I wished her well, hung up, blocked the number, and felt nothing. Not hate, not satisfaction, just neutrality. That's when I knew I had healed.
The new life. I sold the estate. Too many echoes, too many rehearsed lies in those walls. I moved to a coastal home overlooking open water. Simpler, cleaner, honest. I created an entrepreneurship foundation, mentored young founders, taught them something most business schools ignore. Integrity compounds faster than deception. Our company had its most profitable year ever, not because of revenge, but because clarity eliminates distraction.
The final lesson. People think power is loud. It isn't. Power is quiet. It doesn't argue. It doesn't beg. It adjusts. And when I walked away from that party without saying a word, I didn't lose my marriage. I saved my future. Because when you live in truth, there are no shadows left to fear.